There are a lot of things that make up single camera production, but the important aspects can be categorized into format, narrative structure, and technical aspects. We will cover formats firstly. The format is basically how long it takes for the show to tackle its main story or individual story arcs. This usually applies to TV shows well, as TV shows have many different formats such as series, a serial, or a single drama. A series is the most common format, as many shows prefer to broadcast their shows this way. Examples of a series would be shows such as The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, The Flash, and Arrow. A single drama is a show that was broadcast once and gives a representation of real-life issues or events. An example of this would be Channel 4's Cyberbully. A serial is a show that broadcasts only once, but the narrative runs through 2 or 3 episodes instead of finishing at the end of 1 episode. An example of this would be ITV's Flood, which was played in 2 episodes with a running narrative. A genre is what theme and category a production would be categorized under. Different genres have different conventions as to make sure the product works within this chosen category. You can also get hybrid genres which mix certain conventions of specific genres together. Examples of genres would be Western, science fiction, and soap opera. An example of a soap opera would be BBC One's EastEnders. An example of a hybrid genre would be the series Firefly, as it is a mixture of Western and science fiction. Narrative structures are how the information of the product is presented to us. This includes how we get told the narrative. Examples of narrative structures include linear and non-linear, as well as realistic and non-realistic. An example of a non-linear show would be Arrow, as there are flashbacks that tell us a story that happened over the course of 5 years whilst the main narrative is told. Whereas the show's spin-off, The Flash, is linear as the story is presented to the audience in chronological order. Technical aspects are the parts where you would be producing the content. This includes such things as camera techniques, lighting and sound, editing, scripting, building a scene, and building a narrative. Camera shot techniques are used to make the shot look appealing and interesting. Examples of interesting shots and movements include zooms, tracking shots, panning shots, and sequence shots. Lighting is used to give a shot a certain theme and feel to it. Popular lighting choices include high key, low key, realistic lighting, and chiaroscuro. Low key is where the shot is lit really dimly, whereas high key lighting is where the shot is lit to be really bright. Realistic lighting is where the camera doesn't absorb artificial light and only gets light from natural sources. And chiaroscuro is used to show strong contrast between light and dark. Editing is the process of creating the sequence by putting the clips together. Examples such as cross-cutting are used to jump between 2 narratives until they meet. Clean cuts are used to create a simple cut between clips. Transitions include such things as wipes and fades, but these aren't recommended to use as they can make something look really cheesy or just ruin the aesthetic feel. Sound is what builds up the atmosphere of the product, whether it is through dialogue or sound effects. You can use techniques such as ADR, automated dialogue replacement, to make dialogue seem clearer. Foley sound can be used to make props seem like they are making sounds, such as a sword hitting a shield. Music can be used to give the character more depth if they can hear it. An ambience track is used to make the location seem like it has more life. For example, making the location seem like it has a light breeze and birds making noises. Sound will usually be added in post-production as it is easier. Scripting will help make the product seem more realistic. As an example, the show Downton Abbey is set in the late Edwardian era, so the writer of the script would have to make sure that the language used would be appropriate for the time period. Building a scene would go hand in hand with this, as it would include visuals instead of things you can hear. This would include costumes and props that would make sure that it is also appropriate for the time period of when they're looking to depict. The name Downton Abbey also helps build up a narrative, as we know the show will take place at the estate of Downton Abbey and will revolve around the lives of its residents.